Hello guys, so welcome back to our brand new Java course. So in previous video we discussed about Java and we created our very first program. So if you haven't seen our video yet, go through this link and we will be continuing from here. So if you are new here, ASF Info is a YouTube channel for all those who are trying to learn new technologies every day. So please consider subscribing the channel and also click on the bell icon so you won't miss any of our videos. Okay, let's talk about data types. Now, why we need data types? Now, what is a software? Simply, softwares are based on different types of data. What we do with software is processing that data. So, when we program our code, we use these data types to save data with them. Then we assign values to them. And then we do different operations using them. We call them variables. Why variables? Because the values and types can be changed time to time. Okay, why we use data types to assign values? Now Java is a type-safe language. So in Java, it is necessary to assign the right data type to the right value. Let's take a quick example. Now imagine you have a little pet cat. Okay. Now you have to take your pet to the vet. Now you have few choices of transport. You can use your motorcycle or a taxi car or let's say public bus, only if you are allowed to take your pet on buses. Now what choice you can make? You surely can take a taxi car or the bus or even the bike if you try to take the pet with let's say putting it in a box. Okay. Now imagine your pet is a big dog, very big one. Can you take in transportation? No. It will be hard to use the bike now. Okay, other two are fine, but it will be hard to use your motorcycle now. So when the pet changes, the transport type should be changed. Just like that, when the variable value changes, the data type should be changed to the right one. So how to define variables? To define a variable, first give the data type. Let's say int for integer. Then give a name and then assign a value to it. This is the way of defining a primitive variable in Java. So why I say primitive? Because in Java there's also reference variables, which we will discuss in double topic concepts. Okay, let's take a quick look at this table. These are primitive data types in Java. Each type has a range of storing data in bits. Now the computer stores our data according to the number of bits we provide by giving each type. Now the boolean value can store up to 1 bit only because there are only two values to boolean, which is true or false, and it can access only one value at a time. Therefore, it need only 1 bit. Now int type, short for integer, this type can save up to 32 bits. So for all numbers in this range, we can use int. Double we can use to store point value numbers like let's say 5.25, and we can store up to 64 bits. So we will see how this works with examples. I am opening Eclipse. Okay, I will create a new class like in previous video and I will give it a name, let's say data types. I will create the main method from here too, so I don't have to do it manually, and click on finish. Okay, now I will declare a variable named I and assign a value of 10 to it. So 10 is an integer number, therefore we can declare the data type of int. Now there are no errors. Now let's print this. Okay, how to print? We call system.out.print. But here in Eclipse we can simply type syso and press Ctrl plus space, and you can see, and then press enter. Then you have the system.out.println. It is a shortcut we can use in Eclipse IDE. It will be really handy when we are coding. Okay, now I is an integer value, so I simply pass the value of I here and then press run, and we get the value of 10 in the console. So if you have more than 32 bits to this I variable, let's say I will put more zeros here, you can see an error here. The error says int out of range. In those kind of cases, you can use the data type of long. Long is used for integer values that has up to 64 bits to the number. And in the long type, at the end of the number, you have to type L. And now you can see there's no errors, and if I run this, we get the answer. So int values can store up to 32 bits. And long values, let's say j, new variable, and a big number, let's say, it can store up to 64 bits. If your number has no more than 16 bits, we can use the data type short, and the 16 bits mean this range. So if your number is under this range, you can use short. Also, if your number is not having 8 bits, you can use byte. Byte is another data type of integers. You can declare integers using byte data type, which has no more than 8 bits. 8 bits mean in the range of this. So if the number is in this range, we can use byte. Now all of these has no floating point values. Why we use them is so we can save some memory of the computer to do the operation. Okay, let me clear this. Now what if I change this number to 10.45, let's say? You can see there's an error of type mismatch. It's like taking your big pet dog by the bike. So 10.45 is a double value. Therefore, we have to change this type to double. And now it works. So for values with floating point numbers, we can use double. Also, we can use float as long as they are smaller than 32 bits. So this one we can use float, but remember to put f in the end of the number. It will be the same. Also remember that we can assign these to negative numbers too. Okay, any number between given range. Now if we want to store some characters like A, B or other symbols, we have to use the type char for that. Char is for characters, and I will say a name ch. And when you declare char variables, remember to assign them with single quotes. Inside of single quotes, I will say A. Now in characters, after we have declared some variable, and now I am assigning a new value to it like this, and there's no errors. Why is that? Now this ch, we have already declared it as a character. So what we do here is we assign the ASCII value to ch. What is ASCII? ASCII stands for American Standard Code of Information Interchange. We can use ASCII values to characters too. Now if I print this, it will print the character D. So the ASCII value of capital D is 68. That is what we get by here. Unlike in C language, in Java you can use Boolean values too. Data type Boolean stores true or false. True or false. Note that this doesn't mean the string of true. Okay. It is not the string of true. It is the value of true. It means if something is correct, we can have true or otherwise false. Now Boolean is very useful, especially when we check for conditions in Java. Okay, let's print this. It says false. It is not the string, it's the value. Value of this variable is false. Now, what if you need to store a string like hello world? We printed this on our previous video. Now this is how we declare strings, and I will assign a name to this. The data type is string. Okay, we can print this. we get the hello world. Now see, here in string, S is capital. But for all other data types, it was simple letters. All the letters were simple. Now why is this string is S capital? There's a reason for that. That's because string in Java is not a primitive data type. It's a reference data type. Now reference data types are in Java that we will discuss in OOV concept. So it's not a primitive data type. So these are our primitive data types in Java. Okay, so that is all about data types. So thank you for watching the video and please consider subscribing us and see you soon with our next lesson.